Philip JP has helped so much, tremendous. By first thing, we have the paying the school fees. So I was one of those, you know. Yes, they paid the school fees for my daughter. Look, right now she's benefiting from, or she'll be benefiting from CXC being paid. My daughter also trying to pursue nursing. So Philip JP also has stuff in place for nursing. So I am very pleased with Philip JP, and I pray that, you know, this year another 5 years. So hopefully that my next daughter, in time of CXC, I will get that assistance as well.
I'll smile, I know what it takes to fool this town. I'll do it till the sun goes down and all through the night time. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what you wanna hear. Keep my sunglasses on while I shed a tear. It's never the right time. Yeah. I put my arm around so you how strong I am. I put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Break down, only alone I will cry out now. You'll never see what's hiding out deep down. Yeah. I know, I've heard that to let your feelings show is the only way to make friendships grow, but I'm too afraid now. Yeah. I put my arm around so you how strong I am. I put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I put my arm
Presenting your St. Lucia Labour Party candidate for Castries South East, Lisa Jawahir.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today.
I found out 2 years ago that I had breast cancer, well, officially diagnosed, but prior to that, I felt a lump in my breast. She went about and she read the results and she told me that I was stage 2 breast cancer. I'm not lying to tell you, when I walked out of the office, I cried a little bit. I went to the washroom, I cried. And I said to myself, you know what? Why cry now? It's time for me to think of ways to make some money. The journey began and the costs started coming in with scans and blood work and that you had to do before you even start the process of treatment. It was a little hectic. I tried to get some assistance from the minister I tried to get assistance to the places, but a lot of places were asking you for like a medical report and whatnot. So I had to try and do it on my own. I started on my process with my chemo and whatnot. The ladies that get access to that right now, they're very fortunate. Because at that time I had to pay for it. Like I said, I paid almost about $900 total. But right now it's easier for them because the clinic starts off treatment for you, where even if you cannot make a payment right away, as long as you get those things done, they could start off for you. So a lot of people are fortunate to have that free mammogram going, and so I'm happy for them because it gives you a little hope. Because trust me, when you get that and you're seeing the cost and stuff, you're losing every hope that you have of fighting this thing. On behalf of cancer patients, that is, and especially breast cancer patients, I would say thank you first of all. Even if I was not able to be part of that era where they free up the free mammograms and things, but then they have taken an interest in something that's affecting a lot of their citizens.
I remember being here last year when the Prime Minister made this announcement that he will not only give us this donation, but he is going to increase this donation. So I am elated this afternoon to see what the Prime Minister said come to a reality. We appreciate your kind donation towards our early childhood center. And last year, indeed, this donation helped us to develop our school's office and also enhance the environment. And it has also encouraged to help each child develop holistically. Bravo, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. May the Almighty God continue to bless you and your team as you make substantial decisions concerning early childhood and education in St. Lucia.
I happened to be listening to the budget that time. It was not something I intended on listening to, but then when I heard that part, it caused me to give the television a little more volume.
I think I was on my way home from school, and I think my mom was the one who told me about it.
Oh, I feel great. I don't have to face my credit union anymore to get that disbursement for the final portions of my school. That's less interest on my existing one that's there. So yeah, it came at a great time, especially the last year is the most expensive year, 2 semesters and $10,000. That's a lot of money, and it's really helpful.
In the final year where the work is heavy, I know now I can just focus full time on my education, knowing that I'm relieved of that fee, that hefty sum. So I'm definitely going to do my best this time around, putting my best foot forward.
I think it would relieve us in a way that we are motivated, and to see that our leaders they believe in our potential and are actually investing in our future. We're very happy about that.
Castries South East! I grew up in Forest, in a modest household. My father was a security guard. My mother, a seamstress.
And I thank you. I thank your parents who nurtured you. I thank you for having the courage.
In all my life, the only woman that I have compared to my mother's work ethic is Lisa Jawahir.
I know what it is to fetch water in buckets climbing up a hill.
Lisa is a woman with a very clear focus as to what she wants to do.
This is more than just a lunch.
Lisa is someone who approaches her responsibilities with persistence and determination. I will stand We have through the campaign and ensure that Castries South East remains with the St. Lucia Labour Party in this parliament.
This is the beginning of a movement. Every corner of this constituency is ready to rise.
I want your platform to be a platform of ideas. I want your platform to be a platform of hope. I want your platform to be a platform of progress. Because once you love the people will give you love in return.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
This is probably the largest Labour Party gathering we've ever had.
Wow, wow, wow.
Your fashion, your pillar, your stick. BJP for the VM links, we go give them all flower out of it.
This will be another nail in the coffin of the United Workers' Party. Miku North, Miku South, Joe's Ball. A woman of class and quality in chandelier acting.
John Paul Estefan is an impressive candidate.
Gibson is a problem solver.
A new beginning for Chazelle, a new beginning for Saltibus.
Under the masterful leadership of Philip J. Pierre. I am a very proud man. I am proud because I see people like Danny Butcher raising their hands.
The mood is we want BJP instead. Is it the mood?
Love to hear it and love to see it. There's something about labor love, and I am one that can really testify for it. There is nothing like labor love.
We want mood is we want BJP instead. Easy.
Okay, so we can maybe start with some of the fun questions. What are your favorite types of tea?
Tea. Boaden, basilic, the local stuff, because it makes you sleep better at night.
Yeah.
You can imagine on the campaign trail, you're not getting as much sleep as you would normally get. I'm an early bird. I like waking up before everybody. I could, do my prayers, meditate, just follow up on emails. So by the time my staff, because I have my marketing company, so by the time my staff is up, they have all their work orders and their work set out. So the local stuff has a better effect for me.
Okay.
So yes, lemongrass, basilic, that kind of thing.
Okay. What's your favorite type of weather? I think we're still in the rain
Weather?
season.
I love the rain. I love the rain. I think I'm a child of the water. There's just something about it that is calming. Now, growing up in Forestier, we had the galvanized roof, girl, and Forestier is cold. You know that?
Yeah.
You know that. Forestier is just so cold, and the mist, and you would get a good night's sleep. And even around 6 o'clock on an evening, especially Christmas time, people are wearing their cardigans because we're all up in the hills.
Yeah.
And just hearing the rain on the galvanized, it was just so soothing. You'd have not a care in the world. And like I said, like growing up in Forestier, the galvanized, the pitter-patter on your galvanized, it's just so soothing as a child. And so sometimes when I have difficulty falling asleep, I'll go onto YouTube and I'll play thunderstorm weather sounds.
You use that?
Yeah. Because there's so much going on. Like there's a lot to think of, especially during the campaign, and sometimes white noise works for some people. For me in particular, it's the sound of rain, it's the sound of water. So in my spare time, well, prior to being the endorsed candidate, when I had more time, I'd drive up to Grizzly. I'd actually park by the rocks, Pigeon Island, and just, put my feet up, have my water or juice or whatever, and just listen to the waves crashing. And that was like a peaceful getaway for me. So I always prefer wet over dry. Wet is not always a good thing because of, some of the effects that come with it, especially in our constituency. We've had a lot of issues as it relates to flooding. One of the things that I want to do there, and I had a conversation with some engineers, people in both has read already. Yes. With some engineers about how we're going to address the overflow at the Crown Lands Bridge, which overflows onto the main Bexar Road. And we came up with a plan, very interesting, but I believe that when persons from the area learn about what we intend to do, they'd be really happy, because that impacts how they, like, how can children go to school if the bridge is flooded, and vehicles cannot pass. You're nervous about that, the proper desilting of the riverways. But we've found that over time, we've been a bit more consistent in desilting our rivers in Castries South East. So that helps a bit. But we do have an overall plan on how we intend to address flooding, especially in that area of the communities.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope we'll get into that a bit later. Let's see. So, let's say there was an event in St. Lucia called Lisa Jazz and Arts Festival, right? So, what would be your ideal headline for that show?
My ideal headliner. I'm into ballads. So I used to sing at church, right? And I'd sing Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, or even Adele. Adele would be a good name for jazz. Adele would be a good name, a good sing-along where you feel like you're hitting all the right notes and people are able to connect to the music. More recently, I've taken a liking for Rihanna. Just supporting young Black Caribbean women. And so, my makeup products are Fenty.
Right.
My lip gloss is hot chocolate. Because it's a natural tone for me. I use her foundation and I use her products because the work she's doing is really contributing towards supporting young women from our, not just her country, Barbados, but from the Caribbean region.
Right.
So Rihanna, Adele. I like Western. I'm a bit of a reggae hack. So it's a mix of things. Of course, we'll feature local, people from the constituency, because like Krista Bailey. Krista and I grew up singing in the Adventist church together. I'm so proud to witness her actually singing main stage jazz. So she'd be a good choice. But yeah, I like Adele, I like the ballads, I like the reggae, a little bit of Vibes Cartel. I don't know how much money we have to afford these kind of artists, but you like things that you can sing along to.
Yes.
One of my favorite shows was the one with Air Supply, because I really I like these old school kind of sentimental songs. Yeah, so you'd get a good mix, but definitely Adele and Rihanna.
Okay. Well, okay, so right now we're approaching the Tiroche school, the primary school.
Right.
So, what schools did you go to?
Oh, school. I went to the Forestier Methodist Combined. I did the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School. From there, took a year off. I thought I wanted to go to A-level to do sciences because I really wanted to be a physicist. I was fascinated with planes. Yeah, I was fascinated with planes and boats. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. It was just like so much, being bombarded as a young person, trying so hard to make that decision of where you're going to end up. Of where you're going to end up. Auntie Jackie! Jackie Kajado. That lady took care of me growing up.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so when I finally decided to go to the mall, I went to D-Thames, Black and White. And that's where I discovered I was very interested in marketing and meeting people. So, yeah. Hi. After that, I worked in hospitality. And since you asked about schools, I eventually went to do my master's degree in strategic communication. Graduated in the year 2017. I know a lot of people are questioning, or well, one or two persons are asking me to put my degree online, and you know, I think we spend so much time trying to discredit people in politics and less time on the issues that matter to them. So it is so easy to find out if I went to grad school or not. So go do your research, because you're the one asking that question. But what are we doing for the people? What is our plan to change their lives? And that's what I'm focused on. So I graduated from American University, Washington, D.C. I chose AU for a few reasons. I was moving there. And D.C. is the communications capital of the world. And so that's where I studied strategic communication. You know, a few courses here and there, but as of now, my highest level of education is a master's degree. We were looking to start a PhD, and then politics came. So at some point very soon, you'll hear more about that.
All right. I think you did not mention where you got your bachelor's.
No, I did not, and that's a very interesting story. I started off my bachelor's degree. I was working as a teller at a well-known banking institution. I was making $2,000 a month. And with my commitments and paying school part-time, I'd probably go home with about $200 maximum.
Right.
I got somebody to guarantee my loan. My aunt guaranteed my loan. And then she fell sick, so I could not afford to finish. I got into American University to do my master's degree. According to the interviewers, based on my personal statement, they thought it was a killer personal statement. They were really impressed with my background, my advocacy, work in the communities, my work in tourism and hospitality and marketing. And so I did not get accepted into the school on a bachelor's degree.
Okay,
because I never completed my bachelor's degree,
Right.
but I have a master's degree.
Okay.
And having a master's degree without a bachelor's is very possible, because there are several schools that offer that. So anything is possible, you know.
Understood.
Well, maybe they might call me not a high school dropout, but a school. What do you call it?
College.
College dropout.
College?
Yeah,
You finished college?
Monroe College.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, yep, that's the story there.
Okay. All right. That's
You have a degree?
interesting. I'm working towards my bachelor's.
Yeah, what you studying?
I'm studying econ.
Oh my gosh, GDP surplus, deficit, all of those things that, ooh. Okay, so let's drive through the development. This is the development through national housing. Mr. Mangdal was the chairperson at the time. And the intention of the development, and the former parliamentary rep, who was my opponent, was to offer housing support for persons from the community and constituency. Now, you may have heard me several times address that on a political platform, because I believe... Hello, darling. All is well? Soon? But we have to follow up on the thing, eh? I'll call him. All right. Campaign, election after election, he promised 500 homes to persons from the constituency. This time around, he's promising 1,000. But my concern is who are the beneficiaries. I'm not saying persons outside of the constituency can't live here. That's okay. But I believe the majority of persons should be persons from the community. As it stands, this is not the reality. So there was a development that was earmarked for the community of Bel Air. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yes.
And from our information is that about 229 homes would have been built there. But there was this conversation about who wanted whatever to happen before, and so it never materialized. So I think he campaigned on, and we're in the community of Forestry, which is where I'm from, which is where he's from. Yo, I'll shout you later. All right, you good? Yes, I love this community so much.
Yeah.
And when we were passing by the tertiary school, we were talking about Auntie Jackie, Miss Jackie Gajado. My dad worked long hours at night, my mom as well. And so I grew up with her daughter Jarvis, Tijavo. And I grew up at their home. That's the first place I ever had a piece of macaroni and cheese, or I ever ate chow mein. These are not things that I knew as a child growing up. But, you know, persons like herself, they took care of me. Persons like Miss Frances. Hello, gentlemen.
How are you?
How are y'all? Y'all good? Y'all doing our work there? 7150032. Send me a text message so I can get your information. Yeah. Is that coffee? Yeah. You send it to him. Text me so I can see you that day. Okay? All right. Good to see y'all. Take care. All right. Persons like herself, like Auntie Catherine, like Miss Frances, these people, like, I just cherish these people. And even the deceased Miss Auntie Agulaman, I could have turned out to be anybody. The worst could have happened, because as a child you were exposed to these things in the communities, and it's not just unique to Forestry. But church was our getaway. We grew up in the Adventist church, my little brother and I, and so we spent every single day, Sunday in church, Sunday church service, Monday meeting, Tuesday choir practice, Wednesday prayer night, Thursday Bible study, Friday night prophecy class, Saturday I was a Sabbath school teacher at some point in time, then an AY leader for the afternoon session. I would preach, I would sing. I was highly engaged in the church, and I believe that is where I was exposed to refining a lot of the skill set in tourism and in public speaking. Kim, how are you? Good afternoon. All right? Okay, in public speaking. And I say this because I have a lot of respect for my foundation. Voila, moving forward together. That is it. Navi. Everybody in there, red and ready. I say this because I'm so passionate about these people, and I feel like when I look at my circumstances, I feel like I've just been blessed to come this far. And that is why I want to give back. That is why I want to be part of this movement for change that can really create opportunities for persons like myself, because I didn't have it on a golden platter. I didn't have those expectations on a golden platter. Hello, Auntie Catherine, I coming back. And but yet still through the struggle, I just managed to push through. And so I'm really passionate about my community. I'm really passionate about the development of young persons. I'm passionate about the older persons who took care of me when it was my time. You understand? And so I take it very seriously. I take representation very seriously. I take this job, this new found responsibility very seriously. And I look at the track record of people who have, or persons who have represented us for 15 years, and I believe so much more could have been done. I don't think we're at a place where we want to move back or we want to look back onto yesterday. I believe that our Prime Minister has really set the bar for what representation looks like, and it's representation with passion, representation on putting people first, and policies that really change lives, like how my life was changed when Kenny Anthony introduced the bursary program in 2000, because I didn't know how I was going to go to secondary school, girl. Passed for company, and I myself wondering how that happening, and then, you know, Budges, Cabby, Terry, what are you saying? I call her. Cabby. How good for you do a half day? We just been making around doing some stuff there. Imagine I just see Dindoy there if I'm moving fast to get a shoot. What going on? What going on?
This is why I get him on a shit.
And you there if you vote Lisa shit. What you say?
I tell Liam. I tell Liam I'll make you beat Lisa.
Yes, sir. Where is he? Is there?
By the time you turn, I'll bring it.
Terry, what's the vibe? The mood is ready?
Yeah, we get Saturday. They give us our old package. I bring your auntie thing.
You bring my auntie's thing for them. Thursday we have a meeting for SJ by Stanis, 7 o'clock. We have some strong people speaking there. No, by Stanis. By Stanis, they'll have more space, and you know the traffic coordination one way around the development. It'll be better.
There is a dead end there you can.
Yeah.
Up there. You can just make it wrong in the development.
Yeah.
Okay, I put all my posters and flag there. You see they take it out then.
But why are they doing that? Why are they doing that, Terry? They tell me they're paying people $100, $150 to take out posters. I tell them already, posters don't vote there. They're not going to change anything. What he said?
Posters,
flags.
Nothing is what counts is votes.
Is votes, yeah.
And that's the truth.
So taking it down is not going to do anything. But we don't. Anyways, we don't have time to do that. Leave that thing up. We don't have time to do that. But how you feeling? You feeling good? Y'all feeling good? The vibe good? We ready? Clean sweep.
What's the
The mood is red. Let me tell you, St. Lucia's just ready. We're ready because we have to work. We have work to do.
Not just, but for us,
and that is not something that has really happened because you know Q2 has gone to the other side. So it will be quite interesting for us to finally have Q2.
The old people will stick to what they know and what they believe, but the young people, they're not like that.
They're not like that.
It's the young people you have to.
And I find more forestry people coming out on our motorcades and meetings like you never used to really see forestry people outside like that. First day we're outside. They not have space, sir. Later. All right.
Okay. So returning to the development, sometimes there may be a sense of how would you say, like very like interpersonal aggression almost, in the sense that some people may believe, well, to the persons living in the development, that well, you took something that belonged to me, which may not in all cases as in to like override integration into the community, but it may stand as a barrier. So even as it's being,
I don't understand.
Well, in the sense that within the community, some people may have the sense that as the party is criticizing Guy Joseph, perhaps his choice in selling land to persons, well, I guess publicly to anybody in St. Lucia who would like to purchase, as opposed to prioritizing persons from the community, if that is the case, that they're not prioritized, because there are residents of the development who are from families in Forestier. That is the Forestier development in particular. So don't you think that that rhetoric, if not pushed responsibly, may stand as a barrier to the integration of persons moving into Forestier?
Well, I understand your question. I think it's a very fair question to ask, and nobody has ever attacked persons who are in the development, and I want you to hear me when I say this. It's about the track record of the person who wants to represent us again. It is true that the majority of persons who live in the development are not necessarily from the community, but that is not what is being attacked per se. What we are saying is you keep promising that we are going to be majority shareholder. We are going to be majority of the persons who are benefiting. You're coming into my community and you're having community meetings, albeit not with the community en masse, but in small groups, about developments that you are going to promise us. So it's fair that we are the majority stakeholder of that. Now, you can't get every single person in Forestier to buy a piece of land in a development. Of course, you have to open it up.
Right.
But I'm saying give people from the community an opportunity. For example, first right of refusal, if you want to put it a bit more technical.
Right.
And we cannot go on a narrative of attacking persons who live in the development, because it's by no means an attack on them. It's everything to do with the track record of the individual who has consistently promised that he's going to deliver things for persons in the community, but is not delivering for persons in the community. That's what it is. So the questions that come up from residents of Forestier, because I'm not taking on any issue that I solely believe that I am the champion of, right? I'm taking on issues that people have been complaining about. I'm taking on issues that persons are saying that is affecting them and they did not like. So when the next development comes, you know, is it going to be majority for the people? Now the one I spoke about where the 229 homes should have been built in Bel Air, why didn't that happen? And I think we need to ask him the question, why didn't you follow through with that? Because the information that we are getting is because a certain deal didn't happen. And so the people of Bel Air were kept without a housing development because of somebody's personal interest. That's how it looks like to them. And that's how it looks like to the majority of persons from the community. So it can never be an attack on anybody coming outside of Forestier or outside of Castries South East living in the community. Hey, Miss Paulina! But the people of Forestier or the people of the community that you are campaigning to, asking for their vote, they are the ones you are promising that you will give them a piece of the pie in their own community. That's what it's about.
Okay, well, that's understandable. The only thing is that, you know, people, it's kind of easier for persons to take issue with other, you know, persons like them than take issue with a politician. So that's why, for instance, there was a time when the community, I suppose, would have been, they would not have liked buses to pass through the development, even though you can pay $5 to be dropped there. So there was an actual tension expressed between, you know, persons who are from Forestier who grew up here, as opposed to persons who...
What was that? They didn't, persons from Forestier versus persons who are not from Forestier didn't want the bus to pass through the development?
Okay, to be more specific, as a...
One second. Mr. Charlie, how are you doing? Good to see you. I'm good, thank you. Yo! I come in!
Yes, very anecdotal, but I live in the development, and when I was a student, you know, students have heavy bags and so on, I would have preferred to be dropped at my house.
Yes, of course.
Persons were highly resistant to it, very much expressing, you know, well, I didn't understand what the aggression was until I spoke to people from Forestier who said, well, there's a sense that Forestier persons should have been the ones living in the development, and so they see.
So you actually, you got that yourself.
Yes.
So you are understanding that I'm not just advocating on my own. Hello! That people actually complained about that. I think the issue with the bus passing through there was really a matter of a noise issue too. People, sometimes when they purchase private lands, they don't want too much disturbance.
No, I mean the bus passengers who were from Forestier would not have wanted the bus to pass to drop me at my house in the development.
I've never heard anything of that.
Okay. Well, you're hearing now. But,
yeah. But how
yes.
does that, what is the political argument here?
The political argument would be that whilst they are rightfully, you know, taking issue with the matter of their chances maybe not being regarded, if that is the case, their chances not being sufficiently regarded to purchase property.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are y'all doing? All right.
Yes, politics still has a very intense stakeholder when it comes to culture.
I think that's their personal issue. That's their personal feel. Because if somebody is seeing something is happening for one set of persons and it's not happening for them, that's how they feel. That's not an agenda being pushed by politicians. I've never heard him say it, neither have I spoken about that. But people are entitled to their own opinion and to feel how they want about things, and you can't tell them that they shouldn't feel the way they feel because of maybe how it was done. People still feel the way they feel. What you want is to look past and say, we don't want things like that to occur the way it did. We need to all find ways to live together in harmony, right? Even persons who are coming to live in Forestier who are not from Forestier. That is why I am reiterating the point that I believe majority of stakeholders are the persons that you are advocating to, or the persons you are asking for their vote. If you're talking about a development for Forestier people, that's what they are expecting. If you're talking about a development in Forestier where Forestier people will be majority shareholders, that's what they're expecting. And if that's not the case, of course they're going to feel slighted about it.
Okay, understood.
So we are at the Forestier Nature Trail now, at the base of Pizza Floor. Let that car pass. On a Sunday, sometimes we used to run up that road, up that mountain. And you know the story of Pizza Floor?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so for the benefit of our listeners, she was one of the freedom fighters. It's so remarkable that a woman was leading the charge back in the time of slavery, and took home in Forestier, in this remarkable place where when you get to the peak that you can see the whole of Dennery. It's just such a gorgeous sight. We'd go up there on a Sunday morning, take a nice little hike. It's one area that I really believe we could have developed a long time ago.
Develop how?
In terms of bringing some form of economic activity to the community. There was a plan for a private arrangement with, a public-private arrangement where we would give somebody a lease, a very short lease, to manage the trail. Our information is that the former rep wanted to privatize that, and the community was in outrage over that. That man, Trevor Natrum, he has a wonderful plan, and I can't wait to be the parliamentary rep to execute that plan. Because Forestier is about 7 to 10 minutes away from Castries. Most tourists go down to Soufrière, so they can go to the Pitos and the springs, and that's fine. But we also have this gem, which is close. So can you imagine coming up here, some beautiful vendor stalls, you can get a massage after your hike, you can purchase craft, get some local food from the community, then go down. There was a road that was intended to join Mark to Forestier. You can go down, get your stew liver, get your meat, have a good bite, even do some eco-lodging down there as well, and then get back to Castries in record time where you can still patronize from the vendors. It's an option that can really increase the level of community tourism in the constituency. I'm really excited about that. A few of the other tourism related activities that we want to do. One in Sandy Fe. Last night I had a meeting in Sandy Fe, Sarat. We were talking about bird watching, because the parrots, the Amazona versicolor, it comes out when the fruit trees are bearing, and it's really a sight to behold. There's also a hidden gem of a waterfall in Sarat. And one candidate last election, Gavin Francis, he's deceased now. He wanted to do zip lining there in Sarat. And when you go to that location, you see the possibility of that. And we know with all of these enhancements, the amount of jobs that can be created as a result, economic activity that is boosted throughout the communities, decentralizing tourism, because tourism is more than just a room in a hotel. It's about what the country and the communities in St. Lucia have to offer.
Well, that's good. However, I suppose on the matter of environmental sustainability and so on, Peter Floor is a location that is not frequented by masses of people. And once we bring people into the picture, then we have consumption and waste. To what extent is the environment considered in plans to bring tourism?
Absolutely. Very good question. Very good question. And these assessments have been conducted already. You have to look at it because we are pretty much in the forest reserve. I know my opponent talks about cutting down the forest reserve trees so he can build more houses in the forest. I don't have any intention to do that. I'm not saying we're building any houses. You have to manage the waste as well. I've seen Mr. Natram's proposal and it includes that. That is a significant part of it. It is something that's very important for us because the wildlife and all the ecosystems that exist in forestry and in that forest need to be protected. So it's really using what we have already but just enhancing it so there's a bit more public appeal that you don't take away from the natural landscape of the place. You don't have to remove too much or displace any wildlife homes, but it's using what you have. Of course you have to install washrooms. You're going to have a proper sewage system there as well, and the stalls are not going to be in the forest but it's along the road coming into the forest trail. I think we can pass here. The guy actually parks really close to the road.
The curve isn't that deep.
Yeah, so that has been considered when I had a look at his proposal. I think that proposal is pretty much ready to go to be implemented. It's just a matter of coming to cabinet and having the conversation so we can know when we start. What do you think about that coming to Forest, Jay?
Well, if you were to ask me to opine on the matter, I would not welcome tourism, especially into Peter Floor particularly. Whilst it is...
So you disagree with the opposition and with myself?
Yes.
Okay. Softy! What you say? We're doing some drive-alongs. We're not stopping. These people with us. Yeah, we're not stopping. Hi! Where is he? We're blocking the road. How are you? Give me a high five. Ah! Bye-bye. I'm not fake. I'm only on TV.
Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Victor. We you like no? You like a fair tea baila?
Help from you, but not for now. I'll check you a little later.
You'll check me a little later? You'll call me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, my darling.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. So I think when it comes to community tourism, it was something that I saw coming in the sense that the shorelines are getting highly populated by hospitals, and so you would expect...
Hospitals?
I mean, I said hospitals. I had hospitality in mind. I meant hotels.
Yeah.
They're getting highly populated by
Excuse
hotels.
me, eh? I say... What's the... Okay. Say that.
Hi.
Okay, see where?
Alicia! She ain't well. Alicia!
No, echo her. Leave her alone. Leave her. No, I don't want to see that girl. I know she fed up. She ready for election. She wants election already.
Oh, wow. I don't even know how you could speak and drive it. I'm already distracted in the passage. But yes.
How I can speak and drive? You have to do that, my girl. You have to pass with your windows down. You have to be able to greet people, toot them. People love knowing that they've been recognized and they've been seen and heard. And so you don't want anybody to feel like, oh, because you're going up for politics that you are casting them aside. You just have to continue to be you, and this is who I am. I will speak fluent English maybe if I'm having an interview, and then just switch up into, you know, my home language because it's just who I am. Yes. And I think that is something that we must never forget when we get into high office. We must never forget who we are and where we came from and what is expected of us. People vote for you based on what you present to them, not based on who you are expected to be later on. And sometimes we like to refine ourselves a little bit too much to to accommodate what we think is a different lifestyle to what people vote for. So yeah, but you can't drive and
well, I drive and talk, but I drive recklessly when I do the two at the same time.
You drive recklessly?
Yes.
Well,
But
that's why I'm driving at snail miles per hour.
Yes, but yes, I'll pivot very quickly. But yes, so the shore is getting, populated by hotels, and you would expect that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? What's up, girl?
Good. Good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon.
I was told my name was not there for. I'm working on election day.
I'll speak to you all after.
And I put it the day we were down at the meeting.
I need to have a look at it.
Yeah, so check on it. Check on it for me, please.
I don't know. Who tell you that?
The last meeting I went to.
That your name was on election day? Who you would give your name to?
You.
Give me your name, but I don't make the election day list.
The paper,
Errol is in charge of that.
I gave it to Errol too.
Oh, if you would like to work for election day, you worked last election.
Yes.
Well, I'll follow up with him. It could be an error. I'll follow up with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You Harry?
Yeah, good.
Everything cool?
Yeah, everything alright.
The mood red?
Yes.
Good. Good job. Okay, honey. Take care.
Yes. So one would expect, given the high presence of hotels along the coast, then they would, or the products rather, would turn inward to whatever other lands are available more towards the interior. So yes, I expected community tourism to come about eventually, and yeah, heritage tourism and so on.
But you don't think we should be developing?
There's other ways to accomplish development.
Like community tourism? Like what? You don't think people should be hiking the forest?
It's very easy for people to be hiking, but even when we review Flo's story, the brigands would have managed to win the war and so on because they were hidden, no? And so the extroversion has to be marketed on the global stage. It's kind of antithetical to the concept of being in the forest canopy, the concept of hiding in trees and making noises to intimidate people.
But we're not in slave times anymore.
Arguably.
What do you mean arguably?
Well, stop my interview. We'll continue.
No. I respect your opinion. I understand and respect your opinion. I think a lot of people want natural landscapes to be preserved as much as possible, and that is absolutely important. What I will do my best in is to ensure that the natural landscape of the trail is kept, that the disturbance is minimal, because like I told you, any major disturbance can really impact the wildlife and ecosystems that exist. But we have an opportunity to develop our community, and the people are asking for it. They want it because they look at Sufra, which is so beautiful, and the peatlands are being explored the same. And even the Sufra Regional Development Foundation has found ways to really preserve the natural landscapes and to preserve the natural systems that surround the tours that are being offered. People want to come to our country because of what we have. St. Lucia won Nature Tourism Award a few years ago. I mean, we've been known for honeymoon destination for a long time. We even want to build water sculpture parks, and it's taking us to a place where our country has been known to be the Helen of the West, has been known to be a country named after a woman for a long time. St. Lucia was the only country named after a woman, and so it's really a highly sought after destination. There are lots to explore, but we must, I agree with you, we must be careful with development that we don't lose our authenticity. So we can agree there. Miss Buffo!
And I guess we touched on development, even though I I had some questions planned, but I don't think I think I've hardly touched on them. But since we got to development, there's a bit of a concept that development must look like overbearing, shiny brick and mortar structures. And I mean, even when it comes to the performance of the, I think now former MP, that is Joachim Henry, there would have been a few HRDCs, fields, a music studio, I forgot in which community particularly, which were proposed, which was started by the MP before that.
One second, I just want to be careful as we pass here.
No problem.
Hi, hello, Miss Nancy.
Hi.
Pretty lady! Yo!
Yes, so these projects would have been started by the MP before that, and the sentiment on
which
ground.
MP, Joachim?
Guy Joseph. So the HRDC's fields, field like upgrades, rehabilitations, and so on, and the music studio, which these projects will, if not stopped, then not continued under Joachim Henry. And the sentiment on ground tends to be, that he halted the projects and until they have not been completed. He had spoken on the matter, if not earlier this year, then sometime last year. And he was lambasted, Joachim. And he was lambasted by Guy Joseph for what he had said at pre-cab on the matter, which was that these structures are not necessary for communities so small. The size of the kitchen, it was an industrial kitchen, that being in the case of an HRDC, I think in Bexor or something like that. So when it comes to development, as to whether or not all development can look like, being brick and mortar structures, that's one thing. But as to the matter of the structures just not being there, and the memory of progress being well resting with Guy Joseph, what would you say to
the memory of progress
on these structures, particularly resting with Guy Joseph, at least for probably your average constituent? What would you say to somebody who would say that these very simple, in some cases like a field, these very simple projects were not handled by Joachim Henry?
Okay. First of all, so you're talking about the field, you talk about the HRDC, HRDCs and
a music studio. Let's
talk about the field. I don't know what field development that is a Bexor field. Okay, all right. So the story and the truth of the Bexor field is that the former member of parliament, when his term was coming to an end, removed the lights that were in Sufra and brought them to forestry. He brought them to forestry with the intention of hello. He brought them in forestry with the intention of installing them there, but was told by the engineers and the people who know a whole lot more about these things that they are not suited for that facility. He then removed them from the forestry playing field and brought them to Bexor and left them on Bexor. He didn't do any assessments. Considering what the current state of the Bexor field was, always getting flooded and that sort of thing, he did no assessment, and he was unable to deliver on that, and that happened towards the end of his term. So there was no development of the Bexor field by Mr. Joseph that was halted. Mr. Joseph, towards the end of his term, took lights out from one constituency, brought them to a part of our constituency. They were not suited for that area, and then placed them on the Bexor field. The situation with the lights is that these were not the lights for these types of facilities. You have lights that are good for football, you have lights that are good for cricket, and the type of light and the beams and the poles need to really be fitting for the environment. And in these circumstances, Bexor, the field was not it was just not a good match, and so he was never able to achieve that. It's not that anybody stopped that project. Nobody stopped that project. The development of youth and sports lies in the hands of the Minister for Youth Development and Sports, and the parliamentary rep makes a particular request for it. We made the request for lights for the forestry playing field, and it just so happened that the timing occurs now that I'm the candidate. So as we speak, lights, the structure is almost complete, where the electricity work will be, and lights will be installed on the forestry playing field. That has been achieved. We're not talking about the idea of development. We're talking about actual development. 1. 2. The HRDC. Honorable Henry speaks from the point of view that island-wide, some parliamentarians in the past may want to build a massive human resource development center that may not be sustainable. And by that I mean you have to work with the youth and sports councils, the other entities, local government, to ensure that structures are in place to effectively manage those things. And some of these structures in times past have been abandoned. So as to why there was need for an industrial kitchen at ODSA, I don't know. At the ODSA HRDC, it's underutilized.
So
it was underutilized. It was underutilized, and there are so many rooms downstairs which now are being occupied by different entities, and different programs are being run. Can they be fully utilized? Of course. But we need to have particular structures in place. Now, as it relates to...
For the kitchen, we would think an industrial kitchen would be for instruction. So hospitality is a very significant industry in St. Lucia, and there are many programs in place to teach people how to cook.
But were the programs in place? Or was there a plan for the programs to be implemented that justifies building the kitchen to that size? Because we just want to build big things and not have structures in place. That cannot work. That's a waste of government resources, in my opinion. And speaking of a waste of government resources, we look at the structure near the Bexar School. That structure, yes, the current parliamentary rep speaks of many bathrooms in that structure, but that should not have been built there. If the Bexar School was earmarked for demolition, why build a structure that costs a significant amount of money? Why build it in that same flood zone? You're literally building an HRDC on a river. Now, the issues with that HRDC is not a matter of SLP does not want to continue it. Of course, we have to open it. We have to, because taxpayers' funds and donor funds were used. But as to the implementation of that project by the contractor at the time, and we will soon learn more about that, they could not deliver in the time frame that they had. And so we were even made aware that the contractor at one point in time had to loan money from another contractor so the project can be complete, and it was just never complete. As it stands, it's going to cost the government a couple $1 million to open it. It's not that it's not going to be open. We have to. We're going to. But it did cost it's when we did the assessment of a lot that was not completed, we realized there's a significant amount of money that has to go into that. So you spoke of the kitchen,
forestry HRDC,
and what forestry HRDC?
Right. There was one.
Miss Jawahir, how are you? I'm good. All right. Okay, you too.
Yes, the forestry HRDC. Its sentiment on the ground tends to be that the monies were earmarked for that HRDC. That the community was met with. They had an idea as to what it was supposed to look like, exactly where it's supposed to be, which is by the field in Forestier, and that was never constructed. And there's also still some questions as to why that's the case.
Yeah, because there were never any plans, approval. Where was the money for that? And when you think about it,
I think
there was CDP funds for it?
I think so.
Okay, and there were approvals for it?
I wouldn't know that much. But there were plans. I know there were drawings, so it was probably approved, yes.
And it was approved by government? So explain to me how it is that the SLP wins the election, and the day after election, the contractor comes out and removes the steel and removes everything from the site. If there was a plan, if there were plans, well, you seem to know more than me. And I don't know how, but I guess as a reporter, probably you would have seen all that information. Maybe you can furnish me with that. But I'm just saying, if there was a plan, and if there were funds allocated for it, why did the contractor remove all of his equipment the day after? Isn't that suspicious to you?
I don't work within the field of contracting, but what tends to be the case is that funds given to the contractor performs services, but if the project is stopped,
the project could not have been stopped. No project was
stopped. If the project does not continue, then the material still rests.
Let's deal with the facts. The fact is, SLP won the election today. Tomorrow, the contractor came in and removed all of his equipment.
It wasn't tomorrow. It wasn't 1 day after.
It was a day after?
I don't think it was a day after.
How long after was it?
I cannot specify, but I think I live within sight of that exact site, and I don't think it was the exact day after.
So what is the fact? What's the fact?
The fact is, it wasn't a one-day process. I think there was some time waited.
So are you saying that you have information that the project was stopped by the SLP?
I'm saying there are possibilities. It could be possible that it was.
That's not true. The SLP did not stop that project.
As far as we're aware, as residents of Forestier, there was supposed to be an HRDC, and the HRDC was not constructed. So
and that is for the. Or maybe you as a reporter should interview the contractor and ask him why he removed his equipment, whether it was a day or a week after it was removed by him. It was not stopped by the SLP. There is no evidence of that. There is no information on that. The parliamentary representative, Honorable Joachim Henry, has said that he never stopped it. Prime Minister Philip JPS said he never stopped it, but they took it and left. And that was very suspicious to the community and to me. So if there is information that suggests otherwise, I think we need to know what it is. But my information as of right now is that nobody from the St. Lucia Labour Party or under any instruction of the government or the parliamentary rep told any contractor to remove their equipment. That is absolutely false.
Okay,
so maybe we should interview the contractor to find out what happened on his end.
Will do. So let's reframe the question now. Whether by deliberate action or by a lack of luck, there seems to be a trend of projects that were expected by constituents which were not delivered, and where the last known progress on these projects was with Guy Joseph.
What projects?
The same projects that I last listed, so a few HRDCs, fields, music studio.
A few, okay.
Right?
We'll come to the music studio.
But let me continue the question. So, whether by a lack of luck or by actions or inactions, the projects were expected, but they were not fulfilled.
But they were expected by who?
By constituents. And
because they were promised by the parliamentary rep.
Right. So whether it be that the expectations of the constituents were not mitigated in any way, or that the project was not delivered, there are sentiments still that the former MP.
We need to deal with the facts. We need to deal with the facts.
And
any parliamentary representative can say, I'm promising you 1,000 homes. And Lisa Jawahir comes into office and may not deliver 1,000 homes, but might deliver 500 as an example. Does that mean that she foiled the plans or ideas of the parliamentary rep? No. Because any parliamentary rep can have in their mind what they would like to see. But if it's not on paper, and look at, for example, the markets, and we are passing through Bexar right now.
Right.
We just passed it. Mr. Joseph said that he had plans to build a market, a farmer's market. Honorable Joachim Henry revealed that when he came into office, there were actually no plans. Do you have information on that? There are no plans in his office or anywhere with infrastructure or anybody speaking towards drawings or designs or a budget or anything allocated for a market. We're not talking about perception. We're talking about reality. There was no delivery on the lights. There was no delivery on the lights at the forestry playing field. There was no delivery on the market. Mr. Joseph, the known project, and the Otsa HRDC was not stopped. It's being utilized by the SLP administration. It's being utilized. But the amount of money, the only project that exists right now, well, the one that comes to my mind, especially as we're driving through here, is the HRDC or the facility that he built in Bexar. And coming in as a new administration, the amount of funds needed to complete that. Now, if the contractor has the funds, he could have well completed it, even with the assessment, but he still entered, he still got himself into a bind. And so that matter, I understand, is being dealt at a level that I don't sit in cabinet, so I may not have that information right now. But that's the only project that we need to find monies for to decide how we're going to best utilize it. But there was never any funding available for lighting project in forestry or even the farmers market. So I think we are confusing ourselves with the perception of what a promise that was made, and not of the reality or understanding the facts of whether the plans were in place for these things to continue.
In any case though, people would like to think that government is government, even though you have separate parties and so on, that people would like to have a sense of stability. So if there is an expectation that we will have an HRDC, if there is an expectation that this field will look different at some point, if there is an expectation that we will have a music studio,
right,
and the ball is dropped by whom, we're not sure.
And the ball is not being dropped. So, and we didn't touch on the music studio, and fortunately we're passing in Wavin Poisson where the music studio is. The ball is not being dropped. So on the matter of the lights, if he wants to claim that he started the talk of constructing lights on the forestry playing field, that's okay. We are constructing and we are installing the lights on the forestry playing field. If he wants to say the idea of a market came from him, that's okay. We are continuing what Honorable Joachim Henry started as it relates to the plans for the development of a market. In fact, it's my intention to take it a step further, to bring a bit more activity to the constituency so people can make some money, so we can have some more jobs, and that is to have a night market, a farmer's night market. Mm-hmm. So these things are in fact continuing. But when you go in Wavin Poisson and you go on the Wavin Poisson court and you speak, and we stop so I can take out my seatbelt so we can be a bit more comfortable and have this conversation. When we go on the Wavin Poisson court and you ask the young men there and you ask the young people about a music studio, they tell you that is not what they want. And that is where politicians have failed. And I don't want to be one who decides that I want to do this because I think it's going to be a good idea. Is it a good idea to have a music studio? It's a nice idea. We have a lot of talent, musical talent in Castries South East, especially for the Adventist community. But is that what the Wavin Poisson community wants? And when you go on the ground, they tell you no. You ask them what it is that you would have preferred. They tell you would have preferred a barber shop or a hair salon. I was in Wavin Poisson doing house yesterday, and the community members also told you that. They also tell you there's a young man, Freezy, who was one of those who started the Denry segment, who has a studio at his home across there. So they're like, but why do we need a music studio? They did not want that. And so it's not a matter of because a parliamentary rep started it, that it must be finished. You have to assess the needs of the community. And that's why it's very important for you to go on the ground and find out from people what their needs are, what do they want, and then put that into your larger plan or your manifesto plan on how you're going to present to the people of Castries South East that this is what we want. They're asking for a police station. They're asking for a fire station. They want the farmers markets, and they're going to get the farmers markets, and they're going to get a farmers night market. They want a place where they can pay their bills without having to go to Castries or have somewhat of an administrative center. I've made a promise to them that I want that for them as well, because we're the second largest constituency, and maybe we can really reduce on the congestion in Castries South East. There might be a place that somebody can go to and apply for a credit union for a loan as a cooperative. Like a farmer might need a quick loan to buy more pigs for his pig pen, and he can walk in and do the necessaries. And we have a lot of farmers in Castries South East. We used to be the bread baskets of St. Lucia, and they can apply for that right there. They can perhaps pay their vehicle registration right there. They can pay their insurance. We can decentralize a lot of government services and bring it to the people. A base where you can apply for youth economy or other government services. People want that. Because Castries on its own is already crowded, and we are at over 15,000 persons in Castries South East, second largest constituency. So I spoke of the fire station, the police station, I spoke of the farmers market, I spoke of the administrative center. They want the tourism aspect of it. They want the bird watching, they want the forestry and nature trail, they want to see more tourism activity in their constituency. They want something that we can be known for. And of course, we need a national sports facility in our constituency. It might not be the national sports facility of St. Lucia, but a place where we can do a bit more than cricket, a bit more than football. Castries South East used to produce the most national sportsmen and women in St. Lucia. We have Stephen Natram, who is now playing regionally. At my launch, I spoke of him. We have persons like Mr. Frederick. We have persons like, Marius James. When you have people like Mr. Reno Kachada, who grew up on the Badlil, and he's a regional contractor, one of the biggest names in the game now. We have a lot to offer as a people, and we need to tap into that and see how best we can develop that. So in the matter of the music studio, it's not what the people of Wyvern Pass, or when you go on the ground, and their sentiments will tell you that this is not what they wanted. And so Mr. Henry was trying to look for ways to really utilize the space that was already being built and see how we can, complete the finishings and transform it into what the community wants.
Okay, so in the opposition leader's address, he took a bit of a reconciliatory tone. I remember a few months ago, there was a meeting that Guy Joseph had at the Tiroshe Combined School, where one of the constituency branch members had said that they're welcoming back persons who backslid from their base, or whatever the case may be. It seems to be a bit of a case of flip-flopping, where, if anything, that conciliatory tone may have been necessary a bit earlier than now. So what do you think maybe of the hesitancy perhaps to say sorry, and to seek input on seek input from your base, seek input from persons who obviously would have supported him prior but did not in the 2021 election, clearly because he lost. So what do you have to say about the hesitancy to outrightly say sorry, not having done a bit of that until maybe 3 weeks before an election, and seeking, yes, the people's input on what they would have, maybe the problems that they would have had with him as a representative and what they want to see moving forward?
Oh, Mr.
Joseph.
He took a reconciliatory
tone? His party leader, the opposition leader, took a reconciliatory tone, whereas that was not the case seemingly at his rally at Guy Joseph's, Sunday Live a few months prior. So it seems like a bit of flip-flopping when it comes to the rhetoric, but I think the wiser thing to have done would have been to reconcile much earlier than 3 weeks before an election.
Oh, you're saying that Mr. Joseph is looking to reconcile now?
He has not said anything about the reconciling. It's his party leader, but there seems to be a bit of a difference between the then and the now, and the Guy Joseph as opposed to Alan Shasley now seeking to reconcile in his nation's address.
It was only a few weeks ago when Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made almost 700 women get permanent contracts, caregivers. These women really they faced a lot of challenges trying to get financial support, or trying to do a whole lot more that you can do if you have a stable job. And so persons who are on wages, or persons who have contracts every 6 months being renewed or end every year, cannot go to a bank and ask for a loan. They can't go, let's say they have a farm part-time, they can't go to a bank to ask for a loan for a car, right? Because they don't have a stable job, they're on contract. And that meant so much to those women, and they expressed themselves in the ways that they felt they needed to show appreciation. And we all saw what happened at the cultural center. Mr. Shasney thereafter addressed that. And whereas I thought he could have applauded that effort, and that's always a difficult thing when the other side is doing something good, but whereas I felt like he could have applauded that effort and say, well, when I come into office, this is what I am going to do to help change or make things better for you, something impressive. Instead, he launched an attack on these women and said, but when I become Prime Minister and I call you into my office, what will you have to say now? Somewhat of a look you, look me kind of thing. And it shows you that the leader of the opposition just has not changed. Not just in terms of the women, but in terms of the type of caring and understanding and sincere leadership that you want moving forward. Politics and representing a political organization, I want to speak on issues. I want to speak on things that are going to change the lives of people the same way my life was changed. That's all I want to do. That's all I care about. When I'm on the ground, even persons who probably engaged in that sort of political banter will tell you, don't speak about him, speak about your plans. We're sick and tired of that. And I understand. People don't want that anymore. But if you continue to go back there and that's all you have to offer to the people, then people are not going to vote for you. So when Mr. Joseph came back, after a few years of not being on the ground and tried to say that, I am this and things are different, and then not too long after that something comes out about me and I'm in the public light and you attack me as a woman, and every time in your public meetings you mention my name in you said the Labour Party has replaced Joachim Henry with somebody worse. But on what premise am I worse? What did Joachim do that makes, and now Lisa is worse? It's just a matter of just saying it because it's the political rhetoric. That makes no sense. People are not buying that. People want to hear what your plans are, Guy Joseph. Because you represented the constituency for 15 years, you did what you felt you needed to do, the constituency was not satisfied with your representation, and they voted you out. So tell them what it is that you are going to do for them now. But all he insists on doing is Lisa, Lisa, Lisa. So the reconciliatory tone that is being taken now, I don't think people are buying it. But the only way you will know is when the last vote is counted on election day. So I will just continue to do what I believe is right by the people of St. Lucia, by the people of Castries South East, and advocate for the things they want. Sometimes I've gone to meetings and they ask me, what are your plans? And then I will tell them, well, I want to hear from you. And they will tell us, but what do you think? And I will tell them, well, I've seen this. And they'll tell you, but no, not really. This is what it is. And that's how you learn. That's the only way you're going to be successful in politics, is if you listen. And if you learn from the people and hear them out. Because you're really there, placed there by them to do what it is that they believe they need, right? So you're there to advocate for the policy changes, advocate for the financial support that can change their lives, but you are the spokesperson on their behalf. You're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for them. And that's the position that I've taken. All of my meetings, I want to know what people have to say. So I stick around after, we're having conversations. It comes with criticism, good and bad, but it really strengthens my talking points, and so I know now when I go to a community, this is the approach I need to take. So whatever the UWP is doing is what they feel they need to do. I'm focused. We are definitely in the lead in Castries South East based on what we are feeling, based on what we are seeing, and we sincerely hope that the people of St. Lucia give us another opportunity to build upon the things we've already started. I'm not going to say my government is a perfect government. My Prime Minister is by no means perfect. Our ministers are not perfect, but they all care about people in that genuine way that you see has reflected in the policies that we have passed. And I want to be that person who takes up the mantle and builds upon the progress that's already established.
Okay. So do you have anything remaining to say?
I think we've spoken a lot, but for the people of Castries South East, it's really a critical time. This one day is going to determine what our future is going to look like for the next 5 or 10 years. That one day will decide if we have more laptops, if we have more scholarships, if we have a focus on pension support, if we have a focus on support for teachers, especially temporary teachers, if we have a focus on increasing youth economy grants, or if it's going to focus on some of the projects that the United Workers' Party says that they're going to implement. I have not really seen points of their manifesto that SLP has not yet touched upon. They speak of support to the young people. We've already started that. Mr. Joseph speaks of opening a school to teach people how to operate machinery. We have TVET. So I think a lot of what they are proposing are things the SLP has already started. I've not seen anything unique coming from the other side. But I'm very confident that the people of St. Lucia are going to give us another opportunity to build upon what we've started. In times past, people have voted governments out and we've flip-flopped because maybe we expected results in 5 years. But the mood is red, like people say, but the mood is definitely progressive. People are seeing the change, they are feeling the change, and they like Philip J. Pierre. They believe he's genuine. When he makes his mistakes, you call him a meme god, but they actually really like him. And what you see is what you get. What you see, you've been to pre-cabinet press briefing and you see how Prime Minister can go on and on and on because he's just so passionate about it, and it really makes you feel like he cares. And for me in particular, I want to be that vessel that is just going to be used in Castries South East to change the lives of the majority of people. We've been able to do good work so far, and it's a matter of building upon the progress established and how we can create more possibilities for our people.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Very intense discussion. You want to be a lawyer by any chance?
I want your platform to be a platform of ideas. I want your platform to be a platform of hope. I want your platform to be a platform of progress. Because once you love the people will give you love in return.
That is why I feel so strongly, Mondi, about Philip J. Pierre. Philip J. Pierre, when he was in opposition, came under fire. Can he do this? The charisma, does he have the vibe, does he have the style? And he did it his way in the most humble and caring way possible. And when people say Philip cares, he truly does. And if you have a leader who cares, Mondi, it filters down to you. And when I look at the men and women in cabinet and those of us who have been selected as candidates, our hearts are there. Our hearts are in this, and we are in it for the long haul.
The Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, that man was sent from God. Yes, he's a politician, but that's how God sent him to us to rescue St. Lucia. And he's been doing a magnificent job. So he needs 5 more years.
Oh, after God is JP. I can say that. God sent him to do that job he's doing there. It's God that sent him to do that.
Après Boudier, c'est lui. Ma suko ponta Boudier. After God is my Prime Minister.
Tout le monde a dit Philippe Jean-Pierre c'est un bon Dieu. Because c'est bon Dieu qui a fait quelque chose à Philippe Jean-Pierre a fait simplicité. Because le gouvernement de là a prêté l'argent tout côté, il fait Prime Minister payer l'argent. Et Prime Minister pour aller qu'est-ce qu'on a prêté l'argent? C'est l'argent place tout seul qui a servi bon nous. Et tout le monde d'accord avec ça. Et ça même il pas même pousser ban et mahabou.
That's a prophet God sent for us. And God sent Philip J. Pierre the blessing.
Comrades, I love you.
Denry South, it's your time. This Wednesday, November 12th at 6:30 p.m., the St. Lucia Labour Party comes to the IRDC in Lakai, Denry for a powerful public meeting. Join political leader and Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, MP for Denry South, Honorable Alfred Prosper, and Team Labour as they highlight the successes of the government and share the vision for the next term in office. We are moving forward together.
We fully wet, they show them the flag and stick. I telling them 17 not 17. We taking everything.